Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, it is so over for Babyface Solo Sikoa.
Another big Raw star is going to be out indefinitely.
Roman Reigns is basically the Undertaker.
And an WWE star is getting a lot of backstage praise.
I'm Andy H. Murray. The H stands for, have you considered that Beatles songs sound better when the noises are made by animals?
I'm starting to wonder if I should even argue the point, to be honest. I'm Michael Hamflett.
And it has been a hard day's night or whatever.
News. Hard day's news.
Long day's night. Let's kick this one off by talking about the dirtiest dog in the game. I guess that links it together. Solo Sikoa. What's that?
I'm soloing out. Sorry, you can do the story.
What are you doing?
Solo Dolo.
What's this?
It's what the MFTs and Solo Sikoa always did.
Okay.
Speaking still of Babyface in the territory.
Obviously, I need to watch these shows more closely. Let's talk about him, because he's having a bit of a moment as a babyface in WWE. But the question is Triple H about to make it all come crashing down until it hurts inside? Because on this week's episode of Raw, Solo Sikoa seems to have been defeated into servitude once more with the Bloodline. So the ongoing story has been the Bloodline trying to recruit him back in because he's been a little of a rascal. A little bit of a rascal recently. They had that 6-man at SummerSlam where it was the Usos and Jacob Fatu against LA Knight, Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys. Knight pinned Jay in that match, so Knight's going after the title basically. At the core of this, since then the Bloodline have been like, hey, Solo Sikoa, come back to the family, come and get a big hug and we'll give you what's the ulafala?
The ulafala back.
Give you all that stuff. You don't need to stop being silly. Stop wearing turtlenecks, bro.
Steak and lobster on the plane.
Exactly. Come on, we're going to indoctrinate you back into our wacky cult. So to kick off last night's show, there was an in-ring segment. Jay was in the ring, Solo was in the stands. Solo was being funny as he has been for the past few weeks. Jay said, hey, I've been ordered to deliver you to Roman Reigns so that you can rejoin the Bloodline, basically. They had a pretty funny exchange where Solo completely just demolished the warning shot catchphrase. It was like Copeland and Starks. Like,
it was.
Dude.
Jay fired the bullet and Solo. Everybody all right?
Anybody totally destroyed it. Like, Jey Uso can never do that again now. But they had this match with the stipulation that if Solo lost, he'd have to bend the knee and kiss the ring and all of that stuff. Jimmy Uso got involved, shockingly distracted, a really original booking twist, distracted Solo so that Jay could get the win. Now Solo will be delivered to the tribal chief, presumably via FedEx or something. And the show went off the air with the Usos like outside the ring going and Solo in the ring dropping a goober out of his mouth actually as the show went off the air, which is quite a funny image. I'll make a good thumbnail that at some point. So what do you reckon of this? Do you reckon that Triple H is that banter reverse that he's just going to make Solo a heel again?
They better not, man. This has been awesome. The long-standing Solo heads, let alone Fed heads, will know that this has been about... He's like a 2-year overnight success story as a banter merchant. Like, the MFTs were kind of a joy when Solo stopped taking everything seriously.
Got the tickets and all
that was it. That was a real turning point for him. And there's like, just yesterday, in fact, WWE's... It was either the Vault or the YouTube channel put up like just 30 straight minutes of Solo Sikoa being really funny, and I thought that was really interesting that, like, you know, a bunch of people have seen that. I did before last night's Raw. So you're in the Solo Sikoa headspace, and then there's this Raw where all of a sudden they threaten to take it away from you. And I think that's the anxiety they're going to play on for the next week now. Like, what will Solo do? He's lost this match, so now as a babyfaces tend to have to honour stipulations. But last week he did say that Roman Reigns could kiss his ass, and they got a massive pop because nobody normally fronts to the tribal chief. LA Knight has done it as well, and that was kind of folded in last night. LA Knight and Solo Sikoa were able to work together for the 6-man tag at SummerSlam, and the buddy cop stuff's been really fun between them, but they're not mates, and that was why LA Knight didn't help. Obviously Jimmy Uso was there with Jey Uso. We're going to get onto why somebody else wasn't an ally of Solo last night. So the numbers game caught up with him last night, but with this LA Knight Roman Reigns feud festering in the background that will presumably be dialed up after Roman Reigns has defended his title against whoever wins the Lucha tournament to sort of main event that Raw in Mexico. I would say
whoever wins that tournament has a great chance of dethroning the tribal chief.
Well, do you know, like, the final is looking set to be Penta versus Phoenix.
Indeed.
Like, so...
Bit of lore.
Just
lore.
Yeah, they know each other, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've met each other a couple times.
I'm going to go do some research on that one. But yeah, like, so once Roman's done with that, it feels like LA Knight is the next guy. And I would like to think next week's segment is going to be drenched in that, like, anxiety of the WWE fans that have really, really fallen head over heels for Solo and not wanting to see him join, and LA Knight trying to talk him round, and then we get to see, like, how does Solo get away with this? What's nice is that Jacob Fatu in the group has honoured the stipulation and, you know, kind of gone all in with it. Yep. He now acts completely with deference to Roman Reigns. He will do exactly what is asked of him. And, you know, I don't know that it's necessarily done much for his main event prospects, but they're following that through. They're seeing through this idea that Jacob has fallen completely in line. You almost stand to get Solo more over as a babyface if he looks at Jacob and says, well, I'm not going to do that. Look at what it's done to you. I'm going to be a bit more defiant in the face of it. I guess, like, when you had the two members of Evolution of Triple H, and Randy Orton was the guy they wanted, but Dave Bautista was always the cooler of the two. Yeah. Inexplicably, Solo Sikoa finds himself in the Batista spot right now in terms of how the fans have gravitated towards him.
That's the first time Solo has ever been compared to Batista.
I found a way this year.
I don't hate it.
I found a way probably in the last 12 months to find comparisons to Steve Austin, The Rock, and now Dave Bautista.
Steve Austin.
There's been times, man. There's been some MFTs weeks on SmackDown where it's just been like the old Stone Cold, like coming back, dropping heads. I love it. I don't think.
But, I mean, to me, it's not that lofty a comparison, though, because like for a while, social media was telling me that the Stone Cold Steve Austin's actually not good. So because he only did 5 moves.
That was it. Yeah, kind of made him rubbish.
Yeah, he was kind of limited after his injury. I heard kind of limited as the biggest star in the world.
That has done no favors to certain wrestlers. That has it. No favors whatsoever.
Yeah. Imagine only doing 5 moves. That's terrible. What kind of wrestler would be Ric Flair would be successful doing that? Bret Hart.
I will say. My caveat to that positivity and optimism is that Triple H is like a year and a half into a kind of busted flush of a run. He's a better booker post SummerSlam than he is post Royal Rumble, which is weird. I think he just loves war games and he gets excited about building things to war games. He kind of finds his way a bit this time of year. But there's been dafter mistakes he's made in the last year and a half, so I wouldn't put it past him. I'm just kind of going into next week's Raw, keep my fingers crossed that it builds to sticks that thumb on Roman's Adam's apple.
Unfortunately, I still have a pretty bad case of PVSD, post-Vince stress disorder, when it comes to this booking. Because if this was Vince, he'd have absolutely snuffed this out already. Yeah. Like, you're getting over on your own. Shut up.
Nope.
This wasn't in our plan. Shut up. And Triple H is his son-in-law. So sometimes so that's as ridiculous as calling Bret Hart and Ric Flair 5 moves of Doom wrestlers a minute ago, which is something I just did. We'll see. I mean, in an ideal world, they'd keep this ball rolling, but I don't know. Does Triple H have the patter? Does he have the riz? Does he have the banter? I don't know. There's an outside chance. Like, I don't buy into this idea. And look, inherently, what they're doing with Jacob is a very Vince thing to do, get under before you get over kind of thing. And I don't think it's... I mean, the proof will be in the pudding when he turns babyface. But I'm not convinced by it so far, and I love Jacob Fatu. So we'll see. Hopefully they do something a bit differently. On August 30th, we'll be doing something a bit differently. We're returning to the Crystal Club. Just 2 minutes from Wembley Stadium before AEW All In, WhatCulture Live. WhatCulture.com/live. Right now, for tickets, they're only £20. You will have all the time in the world to get from the venue to the arena for All In. There's a link in the description, and there's been a QR code on screen, but we'll have a live Q&A, we'll have a live we'll have a live podcast, we'll have a meet and greet, all kinds of stuff. It's the perfect place to come and hang out before the show. Look, you don't want to go into one of those pubs on Wembley Way. They're going to be spilling outside for a Wetherspoons tier pint that you're paying £9 for. Come and see us. It'll be a great time, and you can do what you want as long as it's not disruptive. I will say that, in the past we've had some great special guests on these shows. We had Thunder Rosa a couple of years ago. This year, Andy Burnham, Prime Minister of the UK. I'm inviting you. That might drive people off. You are invited. But you are invited, Andy Burnham. So I know you watch the show every day. You and King Charles watching this with your breakfast. come along.
The invitation is out.
There you go.
There we go. Not saying he's definitely going to turn up, but the invitation is out.
We'll get the Prime Minister in. Why not?
Do you know who I saw kicking around a lot of the bars of London last year when I was
Ahern.
No, actually, but it was after Forbidden Dow. Was Powerhouse Hobbs just looking for some patter? Now known, of course, as Royce Keys. He wasn't kicking around on Monday Night Raw last night, and Michael Cole gave information that he'd suffered a bruised larynx and cervical strain in the attack last week, where Jacob Fatu put the chair over his head, did the running attack into the corner, then they had Royce Keys spitting up jam, of course. So the worry is that he was in a real bad way, and he didn't feature on the show. Often now, always, I guess. There's been real injuries that have been suffered, and then there's an injury cover-up story to explain that. But Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has confirmed, no, this one is just a work. Quote, not an injury cover angle, just an angle. So Royce Keys, probably as much as anything, just to lift him out of the show from last night, just to make sense of why he wouldn't come out and help. Solo when the Usos were doing all their interference. It was a very heavy, I'm hesitant to say the word heat angle because the Bloodline are in this weird tweener situation. So Jacob absolutely brutalised Royce Keys, but then Roman Reigns came out through the ones up and people cheered. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily...
People were yeeting after the main event last night. And it's like, that's supposed to be... The guy who got beat is supposed to be the guy you love. What's
the deal?
We've all got TikTok brain is the problem. We're all fried.
Yeeting for cheating. I don't know. But the idea is that obviously Royce Keys was taken out of the game. The Babyfaces beat the Bloodline at SummerSlam. So it stands to reason that now the Bloodline would want to take them all out. But Royce Keys selling the injuries in storyline rather than suffered any kind of setback, which I think is notable in 2026, obviously, because he's 41. He's had an up and down run on the main roster so far. Some highs. I think SummerSlam was a big step in the right direction for him, but then periods of absence from television. There's a lot of people to say, look, is it just not happening for him? So I guess this one, Meltzer getting the story out and obviously us aggregating it here to kind of let people know, that this is actually him being at least involved in an ongoing storyline and not just taken off television indiscriminately once again.
Because after the Rumble, that was the thing. It was like, where'd he go? Because there was word that there was a program with Damian Priest planned, and then they changed their mind. And it's like, let's come up with someone else. One thing falling through doesn't mean you have to rip the whole thing up. You could go, hey, this guy's cool. Let's get him on TV. Let's get some momentum rolling. I don't like debuting people and then warehousing them, which is kind of what they did. So the trajectory for him has definitely been upwards, and if he's working with these dudes, it will probably continue to be upwards at least for a while. One of my personal favourites for the past few years, so I hope it continues. Like a line that goes like that, and not one that goes like that, because that's down. And you don't want to go unless you're status quo. You don't want to go down,
deeper and
down. Right,
you quoesman?
I love the quote.
Really? Just love the quote.
Yeah, I love the quote. One of my first loves. First gig I went to was the Quo. My old man loved the Quo. I love the Quo, brother.
The Skullet guy.
Yeah, Francis Rossi.
He could do the string through the nose thing, couldn't he, on account of the old the old times.
The old West Brookski, brother.
Yeah, he had some days.
He did. But that's the Quo, man. That's the Quo. They also have the best song with the word Caroline in it, because that do that can go in the bin. But I
don't like that one.
It's good stuff.
I like Roses by Outkast. Caroline.
That's not the quote.
It's not the quote.
Quocast. Imagine Francis Rossi doing a duet with Andre 3000.
Hey, yeah.
Freaking hell.
Is that anything?
I don't think so.
No. Status no.
Anyway, next story. Let's talk about Roman Reigns. Speaking of the quote. Geezer Joe Fortenbaugh has been interviewed by Denise Salcedo talking a bunch of WWE stuff. Basically, this geezer is from ESPN. He's a host on ESPN who have the business relationship with WWE. Of course, they are a PLE. We've been saying PLE for 3 years. I still can't get used to it. They're one of WWE's providers of their big shows, basically. But he had some comments on Roman Reigns. I think I'm going to sneeze in about 10 seconds, so a bit of a warning. But he was talking about his presentation and basically saying he needs to exist like The Undertaker. In fact, that's exactly what he said. Roman needs to exist like The Undertaker. He needs to exist as a heel. Roman, from a business perspective, the fact that he has done what he has done financially for this company for so long, thoroughly impressive. I think there's a lot that people like us who work on a camera can learn from him with how slow he takes everything. Can you imagine someone just coming onto the news set like reading the news at 2 miles an hour? You'd probably get fired.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Britain. You probably get Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield. Oh no, they're in the muck, aren't they?
They're long gone now. Yeah,
they got caught up in some stuff.
I don't know who took their spots.
Is Willoughby still about? Was it not just Schofield who was?
She's still kicking about. Not on this morning. I don't know if she's in the game now.
Yeah, out of the game.
She might be in the content game now, you know.
She's in the content game.
She might be like you.
Holly Willoughby, you're invited to our live show.
Invited to the live show.
Holly Willoughby.
Get yourself along.
We've got Holly Willoughby and Andy Burnham so far.
Just don't jump the queue because you got in big trouble for that when they were mourning the Queen or something. So we'll just wait. We'll just sneak in there if that's all right.
Yeah.
David Beckham queued.
Yeah, for 10 hours.
So,
what a loser.
David Beckham, you're invited.
I just called him a loser for queuing for the Queen. But he also spoke about how sometimes he rushes when he's presenting. So about Roman slows everything down. He does everything 3 steps slower than he needs to, and that dramatic effect works well for him. He said as well, on top of that, supply and demand, you don't see him doing interviews. He's not everywhere this week. That is big. Not being able to access him only leads to more desire for seeing him and hearing him. Yeah, I mean, it's star presentation 101, really. That.
Yeah. I go both ways with this, though, because, he talks Roman, this is, and I appreciate a lot of it is possibly the character, but then a lot he feels like he has a lot of agency and a lot of license to kind of say what he wants. And Roman talks a better game than he plays, I think, when it comes to being that star.
You're in your Roman Reigns as a fraud era.
I am, yeah. I find him to be the biggest fraud in going at the moment. I don't disagree with anything that guy said about how you preserve your aura and about how his matches, the Seth Rollins' match at SummerSlam wasn't really for me, but it was for absolutely everybody in the stadium. They got it right. They measured the tone of the stadium way better than CM Punk and Cody Rhodes.
I saw someone on TikTok call it a flawless classic. So one of the best matches they've ever seen.
Everybody's entitled to the wrong opinions.
Yeah.
Me included. I preferred Rhodes and Punk over that, and everybody else.
I preferred Nick Aldis and Gunther, brother.
Well, it's Roman has that and has that kind of spot. It is weird. I genuinely still think we're in a prolonged 30-year period of there being no set rules about how you talk about kayfabe and things like that. This guy is bang right about the fact that Roman takes his time, that means people are made to wait. You got to really sit there and wait to throw your wands up, and people want to do it, and there's all this evidence to suggest it works. But we've just talked about Jacob Fatu. One of the reasons that isn't resonating so much is because Roman's this massive babyface. You're supposed to want to see Jacob get from under the thumb of this oppressive heel, but he lives a good life under Roman because Roman won't commit to being a heel. So it's you kind of can't get anything of what you want. But then it works, and Roman has drawn, but they spent so much money to get him there that you could argue half of his career was sunk cost, and it had to work because if it didn't, then what would
half
all
of his
of
career
that
was sunk cost? It's not even an argument.
Half of those WrestleMania main events that they cashed out on Roman Reigns that died on their arse would have been for nothing if this didn't work. It's he's a case unlike any in wrestling history.
There was a lot of debate on his status and career last week because I think Conrad Thompson tweeted out I don't remember the exact tweet, but he tweeted basically the effect was Roman Reigns is overrated, and it caught a lot of impassioned debate. I thought about this and I was like, would I live through the bad years of Roman Reigns to get to the good years? And I don't think the bad years were his fault, by the way. Even when he was getting booed out of the building, I was standing up for him. I like those AJ Styles matches. I like those Braun Strowman matches. I always thought he was a good wrestler, and it wasn't his fault. But would I live through that booking again to get to the Bloodline? Probably, but I'm not very certain about it,
It's not as easy as it should be, is it?
Yeah, those early years were, whoo, boy.
Yeah, rotten. And there just simply isn't a case of a wrestler getting that much of an investment where it continually died. It'd be one thing to get it for a year and then it works, or 5 years and then they just go, you know what, I'm not pushing him anymore.
It was poisonous, absolutely poisonous. It's one of the biggest bits of booking malpractice ever. But then he turned heel and it was great. So
got it right in the end. It's a very complex figure. When John Cena retired, it was it was the same but different. He was another guy that you could have a lot of different conversations about him where nobody was necessarily wrong. But it's just, the game's changed, isn't it? This guy's right. but I don't think I agree with anything he said.
Yeah.
That's how that works now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to switch gears to AEW and potentially somebody that wants to be a star along the lines of the likes of Roman Reigns one day, because Ace Austin is getting praise from all the right places, particularly after a Collision Cup match against Claudio Castagnoli from last Saturday's Collision. There was a lot of C's in that, and I was worried I was going to stumble on them. Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer.
You've got sea legs.
Said that, I wonder how I would manage I've never been on a boat for a long period ever.
We went on a dolphin tour in Mallorca a couple of years ago. I was sick.
Really?
Yeah, it was not pleasant on my tum-tum, brother.
I had like 15 minutes in a speedboat, and I'd had horrific food poisoning the night before, and I had to sit with my head in my hands for the entire duration.
Yeah.
I imagined the sea would be like a road,
Yeah.
but instead it was just like going over 100 speed
It's rough, and then the worst part is when the boat stops and gets going again. You're like, okay, now I'm gonna be sick. Here's some food for the dolphins, please.
Well, everybody with an AEW is on the Ace Austin boat, it would seem. Dave Meltzer says they did him, quote, a world of favours. He said, with the performance, people are talking about him, including in the company, being very impressed by him. It's worth pointing out that like Ace Austin is on the losing ends of things most of the time. Like part of the rebadged Babyface Bang Bang Gang that like
Bang Bang Gang
kind of remind me a little bit of Triple H's Babyface DX. You've got your Outlaws, you've got your X-Pac. Everybody has their own little role and catchphrase and all of that. And
the
Meltzer,
difference is Juice Robinson is a better promo than all of those.
Correct. 100%. Yeah, absolutely no question there. He mentions how, like, you know, he might be taking defeats, Dave says, but he is getting TV time at least. It'll get some television time. And his words, his example, hey, we got a TV match for Mike Bailey and we need him to get a win. We know Ace Austin can do that job. And, you know, that's
an important role.
Yeah, like we kind of... Wins and losses matter. They're vital to somebody's trajectory long term, but often one of the ways in which people get that spot and get going is by proving themselves to be like a very effective loser first. I always, and I mean that in a complimentary way, I always think about how if you watch like those mid-90s Raws, tons of wrestlers talk about how they loved working the Hardys because they knew they were going to look great, like working with like young Matt or Jeff, and it's like they stuck around enough, they plugged away, they made friends with the people that were like, can I clothesline your head off tonight? Sure can, pal. That they eventually found their way and found their spot, you know. So yeah, could be a rosy time for Ace Austin when he turns that win-loss record.
Yeah, the Bang Bang Gang are in a really good place in general.
They've got a thing.
They've got all the gimmickry down, all of that stuff. I wasn't being facetious about Juice's promos, by the way.
No,
he's awesome. He's incredible. In ring, they're really like locked in and synergized. The Guns in particular, I mean, you'd expect it because they're literally brothers. But the Guns in particular, they flow as like one unit of two, which all the best tag teams do. And the four of them together, Jay, Juice, the Guns, Ace Austin. The five of them together.
First time they've ever been together recently, though, because they've been cursed with injuries.
Exactly. It feels like one time or another, everyone's got a long-term injury.
Yeah.
They're a really good unit. They're really fun. I've enjoyed them a lot, especially over the past few months. And Ace Austin is a big part of that. He more than meets the work. Like the working standard is so high these days, and he fits it to a T because he can do all the actiony stuff. But he's also like he's got some like unique movements in his Rolodex and his style that help him stand apart from anyone else on the roster.
A super busy field, like you say, like a crowded field of like
definitely
top
workers.
Yeah,
like loads of top workers on the roster, and you have to kind of do something a bit different to stand out. And I think he does. So yeah, I'm a fan of the Ace Austin. I'm a fan of the Bang Bang Gang in general. A lot of their most prominent work is on Collision. So sometimes you get people go like they'll show up and they'll go, why is this here? And it's like, well, if you watched the 2 hours, you know, that's a pet hate of mine is people who go, this doesn't make any sense. They haven't explained this. It's like it was literally on TV. You just chose not to watch the show because you're freaking lazy. I saw someone the other day going, why are the Brawling Birds getting a tag team title shot? They've not had any matches, brother. They've had like 12.
You can't say that, man.
Yeah, they're like 12-0.
It's one thing if you're not watching Collision, but you got to acknowledge that matches actually take place.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like you've made the choice to not watch that show. You can, that's fine. You don't have to. You have limited time in your day, but you can't then sit there and go, this doesn't make any sense. It's like it's literally on a TV.
Yeah, anyone can check Cage Match and see what the rest have been up to if they've not been on Dynamite for 6 weeks or whatever like that.
Birds had a really good squash this week.
Did they?
Had like a little extra spice in it, a little extra zest.
Yeah.
Vert Vixen, I think, should be signed.
Oh, love Vert Vixen.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I mean, she's been in that system for like She's done like enhancement stuff for years and years, but she's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it's a squash, right? So it's mostly just selling, but she had like 20 seconds of offense against Jamie Hayter, and I was like, holy crap, you're great. And I knew she was great anyway, but seeing it on TV is even more gratifying.
Yeah.
So there you go, get signed. That it's not that simple, but but if it was,
Come on, get signed.
Yeah, get signed. Anyway, I'm gonna go home and sign myself onto doing something else for however many hours are left in this day. 6.5. Gee whiz! Why do I come in at 7 o'clock in the morning?
I'm inviting Vert Vixen to the live show.
Okay, Andy Burnham. Holly Willoughby,
David Beckham,
and Vert Vixen.
Guest lists. Yeah.
Okay. What a crew! What a crew! That's the new stable. People are calling them the new stable.
The new stable.
Yeah, there you go. The new flock. Get Raven in.
Raven, you were invited. Bring the flock, bring the nest, bring whoever.
Scotty Riggs.
Yeah,
All
you
them.
can come.
Yeah,
A lot of them.
You can come too.
Yeah.
Anyway, bye. That's enough of this.